Welcome to our educational hub. Today we're doing a deep dive into the home insemination safe protocol.
Yeah, it's such an important topic.
Right. I mean, we're basically demystifying this conscious choice for couples and co-parents, taking away the shame and replacing it with like real clinical hygiene.
Exactly. You're bringing clinical precision right
Yeah.
into your bedroom, which, removes that unnecessary medicalization. But it still requires, well, science.
And that success actually begins way before any physical procedure even starts. I mean, it's all about perfect alignment with the biological clock.
Yeah, the timing is everything. So you're really looking for that LH hormone peak. There's your absolute signal to act.
The luteinizing hormone, right?
Right, because that surge tells you ovulation is happening in about 24 to 36 hours. And you need to catch that precise window since an egg is only viable for 12 to 24 hours after it's released.
Wow, so it's a super tight window, which means you need your tools ready. And we're talking a sterile 2 to 5 milliliter syringe, an 18 to 20 centimeter soft catheter, and a collection cup.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. You have to be prepared.
But when people hear home insemination, I feel like they imagine improvising with household items, like doing kitchen table surgery or something. Why is clinical hygiene so completely non-negotiable here?
Well, bypassing the clinic definitely doesn't mean you can just bypass clinical standards.
Yeah.
Using like a random kitchen dropper or whatever introduces a massive infection risk.
Oh, gross, yeah.
Right. And it can easily damage the living cells you're handling because, I mean, it's a literal matter of life and death for those cells once you have the sample.
Literally.
Hey.
Because the sources mention a really strict 30 to 120-minute motility window right after collection.
Exactly. And during that window, you have to maintain body temperature. So extreme heat just destroys the cells entirely. And if it gets too cold,
Their motility drops off a cliff.
yeah, it degrades significantly. Maintaining that body temperature is everything.
So you have to keep them cozy. And then you fill the syringe vertically and really slowly. But honestly, if my hands are shaking and I see a tiny bit of foam in the syringe, I'd probably panic. Will that ruin everything?
No, you don't need to panic at all. Microfoam is biologically harmless.
Oh, okay. Phew.
Yeah, what you really must avoid are the large air bubbles. If you draw the plunger too fast, you get these big air pockets, which disrupt the injection flow later and can actually cause painful spasms.
Ouch. Yeah, we definitely want to avoid that. So the syringe is prepped perfectly. Now for the physical mechanics, you need a really calm, steady approach, right?
Absolutely. You insert the catheter about 5 to 7 centimeters toward the cervix and just inject slowly. But, and this is a critical warning here, absolutely no standard lubricant.
Wait, really? None at all?
None. They are totally hazardous. They basically destroy sperm motility instantly. You have to use only fertility-friendly options.
That is such a vital detail. So after you do that, the protocol says to rest horizontally for 15 to 20 minutes with a pillow under your hips. But here's a universal fear. What if liquid leaks out when you finally stand up? Does that mean it failed?
Oh, I hear that fear all the time. But no, it hasn't failed. That is perfectly normal physiology. It's just the seminal fluid separating.
Oh, so the actual viable cells are already safe.
Exactly. The highly viable motile cells have already passed the cervical gates. The leakage is literally just the leftover fluid making an exit.
That is a huge relief. But, once the physical procedure is done, the focus really shifts to long-term genetic responsibility, what the sources call the genetic shield.
Yeah, this is so crucial. When you do this at home, especially with a known donor, it is your mandatory responsibility to screen them for hidden carriers of severe diseases.
Like the CFTR and SMN1 genes, right?
Precisely. Cystic fibrosis and spinal muscular atrophy. You have to be the shield for your future child.
Right. And then, after all that genetic screening and perfect timing, you hit the dreaded 2-week wait. And I'm just thinking, why not take an early test on day 8, just to ease the suspense?
I know, it is incredibly tempting, but you really shouldn't. Testing before 14 days totally ignores the science of HCG accumulation in the body.
So it just guarantees a false negative.
Exactly. The hormone levels just aren't high enough yet. You'll get a false negative, trigger all this unnecessary cortisol stress, and honestly just make yourself miserable. You have to give the biology 14 full days.
Man, patience really is key. It just shows that calm awareness and, genetic literacy are the true foundations of parenthood.
They really are. It requires a deep respect for the science at every single step.
Totally. Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to mull over. How might taking safe clinical protocols into our own hands fundamentally reshape society's understanding of family planning in the future? Genetic awareness is the base.